Hey guys, so today we are in the valley. So let's get into some of the early history of San Fernando. So the missions of San Gabriel and San Buenaventura had already been established. But because there was such a wide gap between the two missions, the Spanish felt like they needed something to meet in between. A connector. And they're right, because the space between San Gabriel and Ventura, especially in that time, was a massive gap. So, in 1797, they built the mission of San Fernando. Because again, it was built to link the two missions together. Now the official name is Mission San Fernando Rey de España, because you know how the Spanish do it. It would be the 17th mission built in California, and as the name suggests, it was named after one of the Spanish kings. Now here's a fun fact. If the San Fernando Valley was its own city, it would be the 5th largest city in the nation. Now in the early 1800s, the area would become a trading post. So you could find farm crops, olives, wine, livestock being traded here on the daily. It also became a very popular place to stop for those people that were traveling on El Camino Real. And in 1819, with the mission now acting as a rancho, it would hit its economic peak and would quickly become one of the most prosperous missions in California. And in 1833, the area now under Mexican rule, the Mexican government would secularize the missions and make them public property for people to own. So that allowed for the land to be distributed between the Native Americans and the Mexican soldiers as payment for their service in the military. But in the San Fernando Valley, the majority of the land was owned by Pio Pico, who just so happened to be the governor of California. And in 1842, gold would be discovered in the area by Francisco Cuso Lopez. And with that kind of discovery, well, you already know what happened. The town would boom in the next 4 years to over 60,000 people. And in 1846, so 4 years later after the finding of gold in the area, Pio Pico would sell the majority of the valley to Eulogio de Celis. Oh, and real quick, fellas, if you guys are in the valley and need a barber, hit up my guys here at Fresh Cuts, man. They'll take care of you. Now, shortly thereafter, the Mexican-American War would break out. And in 1847, the Treaty of Cahuenga would be signed, which would bring about a ceasefire in California between the Mexican and U.S. armies. Now, that treaty would end the fighting in California. But the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo would formally end the war between the Mexicans and the U.S. But as a lot of us already know, Santa Anna would sign a secret treaty with the U.S., essentially throwing the Mexican people under the bus. And the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo would become a massive point of contention because the European Americans did not honor what was promised for the Californios and their rights, essentially breaking the treaty and stealing a lot of the Mexican-owned lands. And in 1851, Vicente de Osa would sell his Rancho Providencia to Alexander Bell and David Alexander, which would make both of them the first European Americans to own land in the San Fernando Valley. And the Rancho Providencia today is now known as Los Encinos State Park. And in 1869, German-born Isaac Lankershim would buy about 60,000 acres in the valley. So he would be able to get other investors from San Francisco. And together they would form the San Fernando Valley Farm Homestead Association. And one of the biggest stockholders of the association was Levi Strauss. And also in 1869, the Lopez Station is the valley's first official post office. And in 1874, the Southern Pacific Railroad would link from LA to San Fernando. And also in 1874, California State Senators George K. Porter and Charles McClay would buy the northern half of the San Fernando Valley. And in the same year, Senator McClay would go to the LA County Recorder and officially create the city of San Fernando. And if you're from California or have lived in the state long enough, you know that the state has a history of droughts. And in 1878, due to a severe drought, the valley would go up in flames. A wildfire would hit the San Fernando Valley and destroy about 18,000 acres. And in 1907, the city of LA would approve the construction of the aqueduct, which you can see when you're driving north on the 5 freeway. And in 1915, the city of LA would annex the San Fernando Valley, which is big because at that time, the valley did not really have any access to the water coming through the aqueduct. So because of the new access to water, the area would continue to grow in agricultural production. So you could find oranges, lemons, and grapefruits being grown in Reseda, and the area of San Fernando would continue to be an agricultural area all the way up until the start of World War II.